Hey guys, this is Zach Murray. This is my Module 5, Understanding My Community, Chanute, Kansas, District, or USD 413. Customs and traditions in our community. We have 3 total schools. We used to have, I think, 6 elementary schools, and they've all been combined into one big elementary school. 1 middle school, 1 high school, so classes are a little bit bigger. We tend to be an athletic-minded town. Definitely in the past, and we've kind of had a down year participation-wise, or a down couple years, which is disappointing. Hopefully that gets kind of back on track. Some cool stuff we do, send-offs for every group that heads to a big event like state. Even if it's just one wrestler going to state, they'll do a send-off for them, which is pretty cool. Town pep rallies, usually before school year gets going. We have a huge town pep rally where everybody comes out. You do the prom stuff. Ecology Day, that's just where our high school kids spread out throughout the town and pick up trash everywhere. It's really a cool deal, and do different service projects. Family fun nights, we have that at all 3 levels. Artist Alley, that's just where a bunch of vendors go downtown with stuff they've made. That's a picture of it on the slide. This is also when like class reunions and alumni get together. And then it talked about change. Change is not received overly well in our district until people get used to whatever it is being changed. Population characteristics. Education, I think, like anywhere, varies from no education all the way up to people with doctorates. I think that's probably common in every presentation. The school I work at, the elementary school, we have 822 as our enrollment, and that's K through 6. And then our district enrollment is 1851. We have a 51 to 49% male to female ratio throughout the whole district. 63% is considered economically disadvantaged, and then we're pretty much a dominant Caucasian district with 10% Hispanic. We have various ways that people get messages out. Social media, our schools all 3 do a really good job on Facebook and Twitter, getting messages out. We have a group at our high school that does the web page for all 3 schools. They keep up with the athletic stuff, which is pretty neat. They've been implementing like a YouTube type channel for events where people can watch, which is really cool. We have a TV channel, 5, where it replays like football games and stuff, and then other various projects that kids in our schools have been doing, which is pretty neat. We have an all-call system, so if there's a snow day or anything like that, every phone number that's been given to the schools gets called with the same recorded message, and then they get messages across, obviously with email. And then people get their other news and whatnot from just anywhere on TV to internet. Community groups, again, I think this is probably similar with everybody, but you've got your athletics, your clubs for students, and then your church groups. Something I think, this may not fall into really community groups, but it's something that gets kids together. We have school families here at the elementary school, so when a student comes in kindergarten, he's given 1 adult in the building. He or she's given 1 adult in the building, and they're in that family all the way up until they move on to middle school. So you have ranging from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade students, and they stay with you, and then you get 2 or 3 new students each year. So it's kind of a cool way to get some relationships built with the younger and older kids. The parent clubs, like the Booster Club, We have a USD 413 foundation that does a really nice job getting us resources that we need. As far as people who get others riled up if there's a problem, it doesn't really seem like there's a specific group where that stuff comes from. It's more like there's an issue, somebody talks about it, and then it just kind of spreads like wildfire. But that, not a big issue here lately. Leadership. We've got the school board kind of oversees everybody, and then they're over our superintendent and assistant superintendent. Then we have 8 total principals, K through 12. There's a lead principal in each building, and there's 2 assistant principals at the elementary school, 1 at the middle school, 2 at the high school. We've got PLCs, the professional learning communities, then our staff, obviously, and then some parent kind of leadership things is that 413 Foundation, the Booster Club, and then other people we look to is like college personnel. I know I take advantage of people at our college, coaches, and other people who have some different knowledge than maybe we can bring to the table. And we kind of do that throughout the whole community, not just necessarily college people. The leadership characteristics, I think, are pretty common. They're going to put students first. That's the basis of most of our decisions is we need to put them in the best position possible for them to succeed. Then they need to be, they offer things that, maybe we don't, as far as they've got more knowledge. They've got experiences that some teachers don't have. Things like that. These people are usually selfless. A lot of the people we lean on don't necessarily have even kids that are going to school here. They just are successful people, and they like things that, the place where they live, they want that school to be successful and whatnot. They're approachable, open-minded, and they have, a good vision that they set and they work to achieve. Economic conditions here, 62% of our students are eligible for free and reduced lunch. The median income is about almost $38,000. Unemployment rate is 8.4%. Poverty rate 23.7%. And the property value here is going down over the last few years. Political structure. It seems like the school board tends to go with administration suggestions for jobs and whatnot. One thing that kind of throws me off every time is it seems like our school board has a tendency to not hire within our district. We have an assistant superintendent now who we all thought would step right into our departing superintendent's job. And I think everybody on staff was in support of this, and they did not open the interview process. They did not do anything. What they did was they rehired the superintendent that was here previous to the one that just left on a 1-year kind of deal, so they could go through the full interview process, which was just kind of strange because it seemed like they had been kind of grooming our assistant superintendent to do that, but that is what it is. And then obviously not everybody's going to agree with every decision. We recently, like I said earlier, have had some trouble with numbers sports-wise, and then they added another sport that would take away from some of the sports that are going on. But it also will give more students a chance to go out and play a different sport. So just depends on what way you look at it. Social tensions, we are not a super diverse community. If there's any cliques, I would think it would just be your basic athletes versus non-athletes in school, or your various groups that kind of associate themselves. Maybe they have kids hang out with other kids whose parents hang out with each other. I don't notice it really bad. I don't think we have a huge problem in that area. One thing that is kind of tough is new people in the community, because so many of us went to school here and then have come back and are working here now. So I think a lot of people feel somewhat or that they have somewhat of a problem, getting included and fitting in. Here's just some other information that was kind of brought up on the slide. If you want to click on those links. We kind of already went over the power structures, but got the school board, over the superintendent, over the assistant superintendent, over the head principals, over the assistant principals, then the PLC leaders, and then down onto the staff. Multicultural issues, this is not one that sticks out a whole bunch. The main one, after talking to some people, would be we have a decent size of Hispanic population, and we only have one translator within the schools. So there's a lot of times where we need to get information and they can't do it because there's only one person. And we have the funds to look into this, but we have not ever really made that a priority. In my classroom, in the gym, we've had a few religious issues doing like Christmas or like Thanksgiving, Halloween, those kind of activities. So we try to switch it up and not make it as holiday themed. And then just another thing that stuck out that wasn't a huge ordeal like you would think when you read the news, but we had a staff member that works at our co-op and worked in our elementary school transitioned this year, and then a student who also transitioned, and both things were relatively under the radar. Most decisions here, if not all decisions here, are made with student first mentality. Obviously, like funding comes into that, so you can't just say, oh, that's best for students, we're doing that. Like, obviously they have to have the resources to do this. But the school board ultimately has the say in what happens with hiring and firing and whatnot. Usually the principals take recommendations to the superintendents, the superintendents take it to the board. And that's how that works. Public opinion, I think in a small town, generally you're going to hear the negative over the positive. And that's a lot of what you hear or see on Facebook, people talking about. The Booster Club and other parent groups, can give you some feel of the climate. We have a site council that meets a few times a year with some staff members and the administration. And then public's opinion surveys. We don't have any that we offer like annually or that people can just go fill out whenever they want. I was talking to our assistant superintendent, and he said he can't even remember the last time we had one of those. We've had them before, but it's been a long time. And that usually these surveys come out when they're wanting to do a new project, such as a new school or a new field or something like that. So that is my Module 5, Knowing My Community. Look forward to hearing from all you guys as well.